Now call the meeting of Carbon County Board of Commissioners to order. Please rise for a moment of silence, prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father, only you know what lies ahead. You are just and righteous. Though our circumstances will be unfair from time to time in this life, you are always our unwavering protector. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of constituting the accuracy of written minutes. Tapes are reused, eliminating recorded records of these proceedings. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held September 10th, 2020.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any guests concerning county business at this time? Mr. Strubinger.
Yes, Jerry Strubinger from Jim Thorpe. Thank you. There's a long-time problem in Jim Thorpe here with regard parking 900 cars across the street here. There's no restroom facilities for the people. And I would suggest that we build a restroom right behind the Hooven building, right on in back of the, I think the county owns that property. Right in back of the ice cream place all the way down because they don't allow the cars to come through the ice cream place any longer. A nice thing there, and do a joint project with the borough, leave them pick up the tab for the water and the sewage, and maybe between the two government agencies, they can also do the maintaining of it. But that definitely needs, if I go down here on a busy day, the most frequently asked question people coming off the lot is, where are the restrooms? Especially the women. You know, the lines, wherever you go some places, the lines are real long for the women because they take their children in with them. But that's a definite need. I think we need to address that.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Thank
Strubinger.
you.
Any other guests concerning county business? Hearing none, we'll move on.
Report of executive session, Phil.
There were none.
Next item, department reports, the budget transfers.
Second?
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
There are no supplemental appropriations. Expenditures, approval of payroll check numbers 72754 through 72796, and direct deposit numbers 6023078 through 6023503 for the payroll paid through the payroll fund checking account for all county funds totaling $593,086.07. This is the payroll dated September 11th, 2020.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Approval of check numbers 215595 through 215717 for expenditures through the general fund clearing account totaling $758,225.84.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The treasurer's report?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The personnel report?
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Correspondence was received as listed. Copies will be made available to the press upon request. Area Agency on Aging, 4-year plan. For approval and execution, the 4-year plan of the Carbon County Area Agency on Aging from October 1, 2020 through September 30th, 2021, developed to facilitate long-range needs and required to be submitted to the state to ensure continued federal funding.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Advertising for approval. Advertisement of the legal notice regarding the county's intent to enact an ordinance establishing and providing for parking kiosks multi-space parking meters, establishing kiosk zones, establishing and regulating unmetered parking lots, regulating parking, ticketing, and providing penalties for violation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Archives for approval and execution. A work-based learning program agreement between the county and the Carbon Lehigh Intermediate Unit Number 21 for the 2020-2021 school year, allowing young adults with disabilities on-the-job training in the Archives Department.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Commissioners, for approval and execution. Acceptance of a proposal from Visual Sound of Bromall, Pennsylvania, to provide audio and video technological upgrade to the equipment in the Commissioners' Conference Room. The proposal is for equipment and installation in the amount of $19,935, plus a 3-year service plan in the amount of $2,625 under CoStar's contract number 34-023.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Communications for approval and execution. Service agreement with Geisinger Medical Center through Life Flight program to utilize their one-call system when an aeromedical is needed for an incident.
Move to, move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. This time I'd like to call on Gary Williams real quick to explain what this action is really doing here.
Basically, right now, our standard operating procedure is odd days, medevac gets the call, even days, Life Flight gets the call. This, going with Geisinger's one-call system, will allow our dispatchers to focus on the incident at hand, because there's lots of radio traffic and phone calls still keep coming in, instead of trying to acquire a helicopter for the incident when it's requested. By going through Geisinger, they will obtain the closest available helicopter, and then that keeps our dispatchers doing their work. Instead of, what happens at times, if one helicopter is not available, and they already gave the information to the dispatcher, they find out later that helicopter is not available, we call on the other flight and give them the same information, tying up that dispatcher. And a lot of information gets passed back and forth and tying up that dispatcher. One call, they take control of it and get us a helicopter.
Gary, quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
Just for the public. These are not the only 2 helicopters that are dispatched through one call system?
Yeah, it's whatever's available, correct.
Any other, would that also tie in with the, I forget the name of the helicopter service for Hershey, et cetera?
Lifeline,
Lifeline.
Star, correct.
So it would be the whole area that one call, closest helicopter will be dispatched.
Correct.
Okay. Stick around just in case there's questions by the media
Yes, sir.
afterwards.
Okay. Gentlemen, can I ask you to please revisit the Area Agency on Aging 4-year plan? This should be running October 1, 2020 through September 30th, 2024. Would you like to,
Make a motion to
I'll make a
adjust.
motion. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Move to adjust the approved motion in regard to the 4-year plan to adjust the termination date is September 30th, 2024?
yes,
Is that one?
I'll second that.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Thank you. District Court for ratification, utilization of constables for coverage in all 4 district court offices to October 1st, 2020 at the rate of $13 per hour per the constable fee bill and request of the court.
Move to approve, ratify.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Z&A Financial Consultant for approval and execution. Amendment to the agreement with Zelenkowski Axelrod LLC for financial consulting services for the year 2020, increasing the not-to-exceed fee from $87,500 to $187,500 due to additional services related to the county's COVID relief block grant. This amendment replaces the previous amendment approved June 25th, 2020, item number 20-301.
I'll call for a discussion first. Upon review, Wayne and Rocky, last night of our contract with DCED, our admin fees could not exceed $115,924. So what I would like to do is make a motion, table this for 1 week, to go back and make sure we're within DCED guidelines in regards to this.
And that's what I wanted to also have a discussion about, because, I mean, I had that on my worksheet here, that it was $115,924. And I think if we have that, and also what our worker, like Rhonda, that was doing it, I mean, that would be added on top of this. So, are we gonna get ourselves in trouble when we get audited, by being over $60,000? I mean, I think that's, you know, and that was my question.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, and so the next time Jeff is in, right, we can all sit down. So I'll move to table this for 1 week.
Yeah, and I have a discussion on that too. I don't know if you're gonna give it like a little bit of a report on what's going on with it.
Yes, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, and I'll get to that one, point. But that's, I'll second that on table.
Mr. Honor?
Yes,
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes,
Solicitors report?
Thank you. Emergency Operation and Training Center for approval and execution, a right-of-way agreement between PPL Electric Utilities Corporation to construct, reconstruct, operate, and maintain its electric communication facilities consisting of 9 poles, 9 anchor guys, 1 pad-mounted transformer, overhead and underground facilities to serve the Emergency Operations and Training Center in Nescahoning Borough.
Move to approve.
second,
Mr. Honor?
yes,
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Magisterial District Offices for approval and execution, addenda number 2 to the agreements between the following independent contractors for janitorial services at Carbon County Magisterial District Offices. Addenda number 2 amends the agreements to clean and disinfect offices 5 times weekly. Addenda number 2, they are effective from October 1, 2020 through December 31, 2020. The county may terminate or modify the addenda at any time. Compensation is increased as follows. Rosalie Kometz increased to $400 a month. Gloria Otto increased to $400 a month. Linda Pugliese increased to $400 a month. Cynthia Roberts increased to $387.50 a month. This represents a total increase of $150 a month for each independent contractor.
so moved,
Second.
Mr. Honor?
yes,
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Recorder of Deeds for approval and execution. A request received from the Recorder of Deeds for an agreement with E-Image Data Corporation of Hartford, Wisconsin to renew the maintenance coverage on the ScanPro 3000 microfilm scanner located in the Recorder of Deeds office for a period of November 5, 2020 through November 4, 2021. The total cost is $595 for 1 year.
Move to approve and execute.
second,
Mr. Honor?
yes,
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Payroll for approval, authorize the opting out of the payroll tax deferral retroactive to September 1, 2020 through December 31, 2020, issued by the President of the United States on August 8, 2020, notice number 2020-65.
so moved,
second,
I'd like a discussion on this before the vote. Might we not consider giving the employees an option to opt into this? The county places it in escrow, like account, until such time that the next Congress reconvenes and make a decision on forgiveness or not. I think also we'd have to consider what burden any type of consideration might be given, to HR and fiscal, what, burden it might place on them. But in lieu of simply opting out, I think maybe just look at it a little bit more to see if placing it as an escrow is an option, and maybe we could ask the treasurer controller rep what they think.
I think the issue more or less would be the individuals picking which ones, and I think it would be a bookkeeping nightmare. I don't know if the treasurer has any comments on that. That would be my concern. I think it's either one way or the other. And
Right.
for the public, it's opting out, yeah, you get a break now on your taxes, but if it's not forgiven, it's something you have to pay back. And my
Right.
fear, and the fear I think of most counties, we've been watching
Yeah,
the
we have.
emails coming through from the County Commissioners Association, and the majority of the counties have opted out. And from some of the comments of the county commissioners, the employees in some counties, I'm not saying it would be here, and maybe we should give them that opportunity, is to, and I would have to say that I would support if all the employees, or most of them, want to opt in and have that taken out with the possibility of them having to pay it back in come next year when your taxes are due. So it's a touchy situation, but I would agree to postpone the vote on this for 1 week and to find out how much of a nightmare it would be for our accounting.
Yeah,
And I
right.
just think it's gonna be a nightmare, and maybe do a quick survey of the employees.
I received one letter so far from an employee asking that we continue to take the payments out, but I did not do anything with it because the commissioners have not taken any action on it. As far as escrowing, Commissioner, we would have to see if we would legally be able
Right.
to do that.
Right.
Because it seems on its face that it's either you do or you don't.
Mhm.
You know, and I don't know tax-wise if we're allowed to escrow a payment, you know.
Right.
So I think there needs to be some more discussion, probably with HR, data processing, myself, the controller, and the commissioners, and try to get a little bit more information on exactly what our options are, you know.
And I wouldn't, I mean, if we want to table it, I don't mind that for a week. But I think my concern of it is, if it's not deferred, people have to start making double payments in January already, because that has to be paid back over that 4-month period of time. Or once it's past that period of time, you're gonna be penalized for that. So if people take the money and spend it, and they can't, you know what I mean, or do we have to authorize for them to take it out again, the double?
Oh, we have.
You, well, but what if there's a ruling that says, okay, you can only take that general one out, not the payment back? You know, what are the rules for that? Can you pay it back in a lump sum? You know, I mean, I'm hearing things where people, they should take their money, put it in the bank, and then if it is deferred, you have it. But if not, then what you gotta do is you should put it on and put it right on in January, get rid of it. You know, put it back in, because if it goes past that period of time, now you're gonna be penalized on that money.
Yeah, I would not support opting in unless we could escrow it and that we could,
Yeah.
you know, hold it and then make the payment as required, should it not be.
So by not acting on an opt-out, basically we stay status quo.
Correct.
Is there a benefit to even making this motion? Is the motion required? If you just don't take action, things stay the same, correct?
It would-
Well, I think the issue was that we were gonna opt out, and that's why we wanted to put it on record as an
Yeah.
opt-out, you
Right.
know, and not,
Yeah,
that
It
we
makes it
weren't
cleaner.
moving ahead.
Well, and if you don't make it an opt-out, can one employee come in next week and say they can do it, the next one come in another? You know what I mean? Would it, you know, it opens it up to anybody to defer any time. And what happens if they decide to defer in December? Now you got somebody taking one payment off instead of the 4 that, you know, I think it's, and I thought it might have been a good idea to either opt out or stay in, you know, either way.
I think we have a motion to table.
Yeah, I'll
for-
second that, the
table for a
table
week.
was
Yeah,
corrected, yeah, I'm
table.
fine with that.
and, in the meantime, we'll have to research
Hmm?
more.
Did you make the table or did you table it?
Who
Who
Chris
made the
did it.
motion? You made the
Hold
motion
on.
table?
Hold on.
First motion was the table, there was already a motion and a second on the first motion. So I
Okay.
think whoever made that motion should withdraw it.
The
Okay.
first
And then
one.
withdraw the
Then I
second.
will, I put myself down as making the motion. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I will withdraw the motion.
I will second his motion to withdraw. And I'll move the table this for 1 week.
And I will second the table it for 1 week.
Now we have two votes.
Now I got two votes.
So the first vote to withdraw, the vote to withdraw.
Okay, Mr. Arner,
Yes.
Mr. Lucas.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes,
Okay. Now the table. Mr. Arner.
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
yes.
Now there's nothing further.
Any further business?
Yeah, on the further business, yeah, I'd like to bring up our grant process we were going through for the CARES grant. With 211 applications that we had received for grant funding. Some did not qualify at all, some did. The amount requested was $14,831,498.50. The justified grant amount that were legal expenses that our accountant and staff here have justified that it is eligible for reimbursement, or the grant was $5,374,730.44. The committee is recommended amount is $3,690,363.94. And the amount of the award, the CDG COVID grant award, which went to, I think it was 5 different municipalities through a separate program, was $187,349. So the commissioner recommended amount minus held amount is $3,661,333.80. And the amount to hold for future projects or receipts is $1,291,072.48. Now the pending fire commission grants, we decided there were a lot of applications from fire departments who had already put in for funding through COVID through the fire grants. They have been told they were getting grants, but until they have officially received those fundings, we are setting aside the amount of money that they requested should they not receive that fire grant. So nothing official on that end. So we want to make sure that the funds are available for those fire departments should the fire grants fall through. So a little bit of a breakdown that Chris had told about for all of us here. We had small business grants, 117 applications totaling $2,157,000. We had 16 tourism grants totaling $524,000. Nonprofit, 74 grants, $853,000. That was mini grants, correct? You can hear 15 for applications for $92,000. Behavioral health, the 2 grants at $27.3 thousand. And broadband set aside, we set aside there was 1 grant for $500,000, and if we cannot get any movement on that till the end of the year, that will be returned to the pot. And the business support, we had 2 applications, and that was for $7,500. So this will be posted today at noon, what the grant amounts are to these entities. It'll be on our website. And I'm sure we'll be receiving a lot of phone calls, questions, answers, so. That's all I have to report on that. Any other comments by?
I mean, the only comment that I had, I mean, we've been sitting on this pretty long. And I just want to commend even like the committees and everything that did this. I mean, There was a lot of situations where things have changed, the ruling, and it was hard to do them. And I think it's like time, to me, send them the check. Some of these businesses have been, sitting around a long time, and they need the help, so I'm hoping that this gets out as soon as possible, that it can, get their routing numbers and send it to them, because if we would happen to have a second round, I mean, this took 3 months. If we have a second round, and we're not starting till into the middle of October, that only gives us 2 months till December 15th to get rid of the rest of the money. So I think we have to expedite a little bit. We're gonna have to make a decision if we're gonna, if we can wind up doing that, because it's, we don't wanna sit and here sending money back. And there were decisions, like we had this, where we cut this down to 100,000. Maybe we have options that we could go back if somebody would want something. We could go back to that 100,000 and maybe give them a little extra. If that would be our case, because I think our broadband is a little bit up in air, if it's gonna happen, so they're gonna have 500,000 back in here again. So, I mean, I just don't wanna sit here and give money back.
And in fact, that, things have changed, where we mentioned it was last week or the week before, where things have changed, and now all of a sudden, other employees are eligible for the grant funding. And to us, I think we decided that we are not going to apply for that on the county level, because if we took out everything that we were eligible for, it is only taken away from all the grant applications that we received. Everyone would have to cut their funding, and in all fairness, the commissioners, are gonna ignore the changes, the last minute changes, and we don't know what other kind of last minute changes we're gonna get, or the expenses we will inquire between now, or not only the county, but the municipalities and all these, the small businesses, tourism, and all these people are going to occur until the end of the year, which is the eligibility of the grant round. We have no idea how things are changing. Is it gonna get worse? Is it gonna get better? We don't know. So, and to tell you the truth, that little bit that's set aside is not near enough for what I feel is certainly eligible and deserving of all these people that have applied. And a lot of people did not apply, they just didn't understand it, they weren't aware of it, and so it's gonna be another difficult several months, coming up before we have to award the final, make the final award at the end of the year.
And I even think, like, with what we did here, and I think we all agreed with this, that all these rule changes, we actually stuck with the original plan to have it out for the small businesses to help them. The state did change their rules, but I think us three here did not change the rules. Our mind was for the small businesses. And that's one thing we all agreed on.
Yeah, no, we definitely stuck to the initial guideline to ensure we weren't sowing confusion out there. I mean, it took us about 2 months and 3 days to get to where we are, plus we still have to disperse. There are contracts that have to be signed with each recipient or awardee of the grant. We are alluding to, right now, we have about $777,000 of residual that is, could be, expectingly be applied towards a second grant period. And we're gonna have to sit down quickly and decide when that application period will recommence. In addition to understanding that we may be prepared for a potential additional sum at very close to the end of the year. So we'll have to be conscientious of that also. Yeah, that's all I have.
Commissioners' reports, Mr. Marner?
None at this time. I think I spoke enough.
Okay, Mr. Lucas?
Nothing.
Mitchell,
I have nothing else, since we do have another meeting. This meeting is adjourned, and we'll be calling anyone. Let me do the news media first, since we are going into retirement board, and we do have a guest today from our actuary. So, Alyssa, have anything?
Yeah, I was trying to write down all the numbers that you were saying. So what was the total amount of money that was given out? Was that the 3 million?
Alyssa, Dominic was mailed all the numbers last night. Can we just email email them to you specifically?
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
Dominic's
but
the one
Dominic, Dominic was sent them last time, yeah.
You as well, Kelly, I assume?
Yeah, and Kelly, you should have them already, and Amy and everyone, yeah.
Okay, cool, awesome. Let's see. Oh, can you explain this next part of the emergency training center, the PP&L stuff, what exactly that all
Yeah,
is?
that's to get the electrical power to the site, from, it's gonna take additional power. They'll have to run additional telephone poles, I think there's 11, distribution boxes, et cetera, and that's what that's for. That's for what we're calling the vertical end, or the structures that are gonna be put on the site. We did already approve the $87,000 cost to the PPL to do it. We just have to sign a formal agreement for the right of way for them to be able to come on the property and install the poles.
Cool. And then, can we just get an update on, I know you guys delayed the parking kiosks, but there's things with the ordinance, do you have any plan of when those are gonna be operating yet?
There's some minor details that are given the information to the company that is supplying the handheld units with the cost and everything, and programming of the kiosks themselves for the fees and that. And we made a motion today to advertise it, and we will plug in the date, before that advertisement goes out, when it will take effect, because there are some minor details we have to get out, but we want to get it advertised soon and get them installed in October. November now, after fall foliage. We don't want to confuse everyone, so we decided to hold off a little bit. It'll be sometime early November, I would suspect. I hope.
Fingers crossed. I think that's all I had then.
Kelly?
Good morning. I just had a clarification on the parking ordinance. When will that be available for public inspection?
Available now.
Now, can I get a copy of it?
I think it's gonna probably put up on the website.
Yeah, we can do it today.
Yeah,
We can
it's gonna
put
be
it
on the website.
on, Nick, put on the website with the attachments, yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that. Any idea on when, with the district court offices, you might get the scheduling worked out?
Yeah, they're meeting tomorrow on that. Tomorrow afternoon.
Afternoon.
They're going over it with the department heads and the timeline. Tomorrow afternoon, they're gonna be working on that, trying to hammer out the final details. I guess we can mention now that since the parties were already notified, we will be moving, instead of moving juvenile probation into the Mock Chuck Trust Company, we found space in the courthouse. It'll be a little divided up, but instead of paying rent, we'll be able to utilize space in the courthouse. Since some of those are already working at home, remotely, they're taking turns, and the staff of 8, at least 4 will be in, so we're making provisions for that they'll be able to work in the office or in one of the rooms in the courthouse, possibly 2 rooms.
Okay,
That's it?
all I have, thank you.
Okay, are we ready for retirement? Ready, Jen? Okay, I'll call the monthly meeting of our retirement board to order. This time I'll turn the meeting over to our acting secretary, deputy, first deputy in the controller's office, Kevin Binder.
Thank you, and good morning.
Good morning, Kevin.
We'll start with the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held August 20th, 2020.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Mr. Sheehan?
Yes?
Mr. Bender, I will abstain, I was not at the meeting. Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Nostine?
Yes.
Are there any guests concerning retirement board business? Hearing none. Report of executive session, there was none. I'd like to ratify the warrant. Checks number 40628 through 40630. You'll note there's only 2 of them. Ron, you should be happy to see that. Direct deposit number 7008832 to 7009219. That's for the month of August.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Sheehan?
Yes?
Mr. Binder? Yes. Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Nostine?
Yes.
Correspondence, there was none. Solicitors report, oh, let's go, there you go back to retirement activities. Retirement activity for the month of August, the activity report, it's a quiet month, right, it's finally settling down for the year. We had one pensioner who passed away. Our total disbursements for the month was $422,672.15. Our portfolio value for August, as of 8/31/20, was $82,940,442, which is pretty high. Now, correspondence, there was none. Solicitors report,
Nothing additional.
nothing. And we have a guest today, David Reichert, who will review our actuarial report. David?
Dave, come up, please. Chris, if you want to move over, so you can move them far enough to get them on camera. And this new camera system should help with that.
Should help.
It does.
David, if you can come up this way a little bit towards us.
Maybe we can just turn it slightly for him as well.
Don't goof it up.
Slightly more.
A little bit more. There you go.
A little bit more.
Maybe.
We don't care if we cut off Rocky.
You may be gone by then.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, thanks for having us, thanks for having me, and, yeah, I just wanted to review, the 2020 valuation report, talk about some things that are going on in the retirement plan, and answer any questions that you may have in regards to the retirement plan. For the 2020 valuation report, the contribution for 2020 was just under $1.2 million, which is a little bit less than what our estimate was last year, or for this year. There was a discussion as far as, what the contribution would be. There are some trends that we're seeing, and I'd like to talk about that a little bit later, but, overall, the plan's in really good shape. You've been making your contribution. That's one of the biggest components on why plans are in good shape or why plans aren't in good shape is when they stop making their contribution. So you've been making your contributions over the years, and that's why you're in good shape. Your funded ratio for the 2020 valuation report was about 95%, great funded ratio. That's based off of asset values of just under $83 million, which it appears that, I think I heard today that you are right there. So you're back to where you were from the beginning of the year. So any questions as far as the valuation report, the contribution for this year? Some of the things that we are seeing is that people are living longer. There was a discussion, I think, this year to move to a new mortality table. That mortality table is based off of just public sector information. It's the first one that has ever been created strictly on public sector information. And we're at the tail end of studying the state plan. We do have the state plan, and what we're seeing is for the state of Pennsylvania that the people are living right on what that new mortality is. And the old mortality table that we are using, which was similar to what the state was using, is a little bit outdated. People are living longer, and by people living longer, we're paying people out more of their benefits. So at some point, we would like to move to that. As we probably said this year, it didn't have to be this year, doesn't have to be next year, but at some point, we would like to move to that. Every year that you do, delay it, you're creating a bit of a loss, and therefore your contribution would increase a little bit more. It's kind of like a pay me now or pay me later. So, really, it depends on what your budget is and, how much, when you can make that move.
When was you remember when what year it was when we made the last change in mortality rate and what the increase was?
The last time that we made a change was 2014 or 2015. That was right about when, we were discussing it with some counties made it in 14 and some counties made it in 15. So I'm not exactly sure when your county did, but, it's been, typically we see that you need to update the mortality table every 10 years or so. And it's, we kind of delayed moving to the previous one because of 2008. And that's why, we're kind of, we were pushed back a couple of years, and now, it's only going to be 5 or 6 years to make the change now.
So Dave, we're presently using what table?
It's the RP 2000 table that's scaled forward to 2013.
Right, okay. Because at present, the last time I looked, there were 47 counties using the RP 2013
Right.
schedule. So we're kind of in line, we're not the Cadillac, but we're keeping with the pack, so to
Right.
speak.
And the discussion that we've had this year and we're currently having is something that we've had with all of our county clients. This year, about 20 of our county clients have changed to that new mortality table. So that, it fit within their budget and their decision. It's not a right or wrong decision, it's just something, to be aware of.
But wouldn't that, if we increase that, it would cost us more, but wouldn't that also give us an advantage in a good market with the returns if we have more invested? So if we wait too long and don't make those contributions, we're also gonna suffer not only in what we didn't pay, but what we may be losing in investments.
Right, exactly. And that brings up to, one of the stats that I saw, in reviewing your information. Over the last 10 years, your assets have earned, on our average, 8.75%. Great number, and it's above our assumption of 7.5%. So that's why your plan is, the funding ratio is so high. That's why it's in good shape. You've made your money work for you. So some of the other things that, I do want to point out that we do see as far as, I mentioned the mortality table. Another trend that we're seeing is the interest rate that the counties are crediting their members' accumulated deductions. I believe that you've been at 5.5%. That's the highest that the law allows. The law allows it anywhere from 4% to 5.5%. There are, probably over a third of the counties that are still at the 5.5%. But we do see a trend going down to a lower, some have gone all the way down to 4%, some, it could be anywhere in between. But that's just something to be aware of. We're not making a recommendation that you do move that. We're just pointing out that that's what's, happening with some of the other counties in the state of Pennsylvania.
So you're implying that that would help us offset the increase of adopting the new mortality?
Correct, yes. If you need to, cut back a little bit, that's, the other thing that I wanted to point out is we assume 3.5% salary increases. That assumption does include promotions. It's not just, what someone makes as far as an increase is concerned. For the 2020 valuation, we did look at the salaries. Overall, the salaries for actives that had been in the plan the year before, the total increase was just under 6%. So that was a bit of a loss. That's something to look at. We had probably a little over 100 people, 113 people that had more than a 4% salary increase. So it is something to be aware of, and that created a loss. It is something else that you can be aware of. But as I said, that does include promotions, and I'm not sure if there was many promotions in 2019, but it is something to be aware of. And
Commissioner Notstein and I were just looking at each other when you said there were 100 employees over 4%. Wayne, what that's taking into account is overtime at the prison.
Correct.
That could have been the,
Yeah, that would amount to.
nothing else it could be.
Yeah.
not that many.
Yeah, because it's not your salary board
Yeah.
increase, it's actually a increase because of overtime being paid.
Well, and that's gonna hurt us this current year because of the COVID, the elections and everything else going on right now. It's gonna come back and hurt us even more next year because of what's going on right now.
I just wanted to point that out because you and I just looked
Yeah,
like who
right.
got over 4% raise, and it just dawned
I
on
wanna
me.
know who those 100 people were.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ronnie, though, doesn't it also depend on when that 12-month period was measured, right? For example, we gave everyone a 3%,
Right.
correct? But someone 2 months prior could have gotten their annual, right?
Yep.
So someone would have gotten.
It's a moving target
That's
every month.
right.
Yep, so
Yeah.
during the course of the year, you are adding to the 3%. Yep.
Right, yeah. It just depends on when you measure it,
Right.
start and stop date.
Another thing, and this is happening, in every plan, that people are living longer, therefore the pensioners are living longer, and therefore, you see that there are an increase as far as the pensioners over the year. And so you're paying out more money. And one thing that I wanted to point out was that, 10 years ago, you had money coming in as far as your contributions of about $2 million, the county and the employees. And you had, as far as money going out, was a little over $4 million. Okay, so but this past year, in 2019, the contributions that were coming in was about $1.8 million. So you've been a little, pretty steady in that $2 million range as far as money coming in over the last 10 years. But the payments have increased over $5 million. So you see that, and that I want to point out because sometimes you want to have that conversation with your investment people as far as, how much money you need to set aside, and you don't want to be taking money out of your investments at a bad time to pay benefits. So those are the things, but that's just because people are living longer, and your pensioners are being paid for a longer period of time. Any questions as far as the trends, the actuarial evaluation, some of the things that are coming up? We will give you an estimate as far as the contribution for next year. We'll just need the asset information, COLA letter that goes out in the fall, and so I'll just open it up to any other questions.
That, we should have that letter by, what, the end of October, correct?
Yes.
Dave, just review with me one more time, the difference between the projected contribution and what we actually ended up at, what was the difference, did you know?
The,
For this year's contribution, what you had
Oh,
preliminarily sent us?
we
versus the
we
actual?
had estimated for 2020, 1,230,000, and it came out to be 1,180,000. So about $50,000 less than what our estimate was.
There were a lot of retirees this year, beginning of the year, people retired.
So we should make sure that we make the transfers so that we continue to stay fully funded. So, that's something that Jeff normally works out because it gets spread out amongst the funds.
Yeah.
And that way, some of the outside funds actually, we get a partial reimbursement back from the federal government for those monies. So. But we should make sure that Jeff has the updated number so that we make sure we keep that funding.
Normally gets copied right away when we get that.
Yeah, okay. Other than that, you know, as far as, you know, changing the mortality table, it's something that we really should do. With the uncertainty of this year because of the COVID and everything, I really think we might want to hold that to next year.
I would agree.
In our discussions,
Because you just mentioned about the overtime issue becoming an issue again, Commissioner. I don't know, you'll be coming out with an estimate for next year, correct?
correct.
Yeah, so, you might wanna hold off on doing anything with that, because there's a lot of uncertainty between now and the
Oh,
end of
yeah,
the year.
definitely.
Typically when we increase or, you know, change an assumption that's going to increase your costs, we try to find an assumption or a method that kind of offsets that. And I'm not sure, I do have a handout that if, I know that some people are, you know, tight for time, I don't know if,
I'm just.
you know, I don't know if we want to discuss it today, if we want to discuss it at a future time, I'll just leave this with everybody. And, you know, I do want to point out real quickly, you know, and we can discuss it because we did discuss it, I think, earlier this year over the phone, but, you know, this gives you some numbers and, you know, to look at, but, you know, as far as offsetting the mortality table, if you look at the last page, column 2, and this is an example of someone that's making $40,000 when they start and they're contributing 5% over a 30-year period. Column 2 is how we value it currently, and what we would be suggesting is column 4, in which we discount the members' accumulated deductions. You know, so, I mean, we can talk about that now, or we can just push it off and we can talk about it next year when we're talking about the mortality table. I mean, it's up to you guys if you want to talk about it now or go over it a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a brief.
Okay. As far as, you know, we talked about the mortality table, and so the method or the assumption that we would be recommending that we adopt then to kind of offset that increase would be how we value the members' accumulated deductions. It would be in line with how we do it for GASB 6768. We do discount the accumulated deductions under GASB 6768 using one interest rate, and that's what GASB kind of requires. And so using that one interest rate, we could get a discounted value of like in the first year for a member's accumulated deductions down to the $1,160. And that assumes that you're going to earn 5.5% that you're crediting. And this also then goes to, if you did lower that down to 5% or 4% or 4.5%, anything like that, that would be a bigger discount then. The bigger that gap between the interest rate that you are crediting and what you're assuming is going to give you a bigger discount. So, but over the 30-year period, you can go down to the end and see we get to the same number. We get to the $217,760. So it's just how do you fund it? You know, the current method is a little bit more conservative. As you can see, it's putting more money up front. You know, but the method that we would go to is a little bit more risky, but it is the way we do for your county. Okay.
Any questions? You good, Rob? Good, Chris?
Yeah, I'm good.
And you, a little bit of a better understanding when we look at this, so I'm sure we'll have more questions
Yeah.
as we go through it, at least we'll.
And we can always have a phone call, or I can come up and have more of a discussion then.
I know I was talking to Wayne yesterday about like different things. I think as far as what the state is involved with, like with the ages, I think Hank was talking about last year, changing the ages from retirement from 20 years to 55. He said, change it to 60, 20 years and age 60, or retiring at age, instead of 60, age 65. But I don't realize that's a state thing.
Now they don't like that.
That would be for new people. That would be-
Yeah,
a
lot of those changes would be going
But
forward.
like, I mean, like with my question, if you're extending people out there at a higher rate of pay, so are you gonna cut the percentage that they're getting? Or are you adding years to it? I mean, what's the plan to make up this extra money? I mean, that's what I'm looking at. You know, are you, like I said, are you adding 1 or 2 years on to get the maximum, but then they're getting paid more, they're getting a raise every year? So are you giving a less percentage?
No, they're
To
not
the
getting
person-
a raise every year.
No.
No, they don't get a raise every year.
Yeah, but
Cost
they're
of living,
contributing more every year, correct?
What's that?
You would be contributing more every year.
Oh, sure.
That's what I mean, they're putting more in, so you're gonna give them less of a percentage to take out then.
He's
Is that what
talking
you're looking at?
contributions in, not
I
pension
point out.
out.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, what do you do in that case?
Yeah, and I know to your point, and we had a discussion with the controllers yesterday, and that came up about, you know, whether to extend, you know, the normal retirement age from 60 to 65, make a requirement that, you know, currently if someone, no matter how many years they have, they can retire now. But, you know, there has been some talk about requiring 5 years of service to retire.
Which makes sense.
Even regardless of age.
Right,
because
somebody
if
works for
someone
1 month
comes
and they're
in
getting
now at,
retirement.
what is it, 55 or 60,
Right.
they work 6 months, they automatically
You
get
know,
it.
Work a month and you get a retirement.
Right.
Yeah,
And we've had that scenario in the past.
yes, we have.
You know, a lot of these rules were created in the early 70s. That's when Act 96 came into effect. You know, that's 50 years ago almost. You know, and as you said, you know, it would be for new employees, not the ones that are.
That's something the state would have to take on.
Right.
So you're all right, Ally?
And there
With
was,
exceptions.
and Hank was on a committee over the last 5 years that had talked about that. That was one of the things.
He was passionate about it.
It just, you know, never got any, support to make it into a law. But I know that there's a lot of talk about that.
But if they don't, it's because the state system is, it's in the school district, pension programs are so bad that, they almost have to do something now. I mean, they just let it go for so long, and it's a disaster. And how are they ever gonna make it up with that? And the innocent people, the taxpayers are gonna pay that.
In lieu of changing the age, because naturally that takes an act of the legislature, the option that the county would have would be to change its class.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that would only take effect for employees from this point forward. Any employees that are at the higher class, which I believe we're at the
Yes,
highest
you are at the highest.
that we have, anyone new would come in under the lower classification. But anyone who presently is an employee would stay in the classification that we're presently at.
And in that committee, that was part of, the discussion was, we're not completely certain that you're able to do it according to the law. There are some opinions out there from law firms, that say you can do it. But we've always been reluctant because the way we read the law, that you can increase it, but you can't decrease it. But there's a lot of I shouldn't say a lot, there's about 10 counties that are out there that have done it, and there hasn't been any repercussions. With that said, what we always hear is make sure that you get approval from your unions. If you have any unions, to make sure that they're on board on that. And as Ron said, it is just for new hires. And with that, we are starting to see some of those counties that did adopt it, 6, 7, 10 years ago, they are seeing a reduction as far as their contribution. So yes,
It takes.
it takes about 7 or 8 years to see it,
To feel the effect.
yes.
Yeah.
But yes, that's something to think about.
Yeah, I have nothing. Yeah, I have nothing. Just one question for you, Kevin. We have 2 people still receiving pension checks. Is that because their forms came in late?
Yeah.
So everyone will be coming on?
Yeah, we receive, well, the thing is, right now we have 0, everybody's direct deposit, but we're still gonna have the non-scheduled checks, so.
Exactly.
So we're gonna have like 4 of them this month, so.
No.
One quick comment,
Yeah, you are.
if you don't
0.
mind.
We got them all.
I would like to say thank you for such a great job that the government has done. This has been a tough year, and just wanted to say thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in today. Being with us.
We're good.
Okay.
We're good.
No further business, meeting adjourned. Questions by the media, Kevin?
I'm gonna sneak out of here.
Take notice how they disappear.
That's a wonderful thing. 11:30, Rocky, you're still good.
Yeah, I know, I just don't know which one I wanna go to.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
For the
Thank you.
Hey, nice
insight.
meeting you.
Experience.
You only have one company handling the assets.
No. He's our actuary.
Turn your software
He
to
turns
live
out to
stream
know
in there.
the- No, we have a couple of different investment firms.
How you doing, Jerry?
Good, Chris, how about you?
Yeah,
Some questions?